Yo, what's up, guys? We're back at it again with another PRFFFMLMP. And this
Only
is what
I said only one M. You said M twice.
did I say with two M's? PRFFFFLMP.
There you go.
Perfect. All right. And it is your hosts, Trevor and
Sam, what's up?
Sam. And we have our special guest host today, the one and only, the man leading the views from PRFF5, Tanner Perkins.
What's up?
Yes, from Tanner. What's
Tanner,
going
we're
on,
happy to
Tanner?
have you.
Not much.
Looks like you're somewhere nice and tropical.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
gotta stay warm. It's starting to get cold out, so move south.
That's right. There you
Tanner,
go.
Tanner, my first question for you, how does it feel to be the defending champion?
Feels good. I mean, definitely a surprise win last year. Like,
I was the defending champion once. Did you know that? I mean, this is
yeah,
the most defending champs we've had in Party Room Film Festival fantasy football
but
History.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say things are not looking great this year, so I doubt I'll be able to keep my title.
A little trouble in
Well,
paradise over
Been
there.
plagued with some
never,
injuries and stuff.
never say never.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah, you know what? That's true because that's what happened last year. So
Yeah. Well, let's hop in here. I'm gonna figure out how to screen record because I have to refigure out how to do this every time. I think I got there. All right, did we do it?
Yeah, we got you.
Excellente. Let me move y'all up there. Perfect. Well, so this is where we're at, right? Where do you want to get started this week, Sam?
Let's see. Were there any major matchups this week?
The marquee matchup. I mean, what do we got here?
I'd say, well, Tanner's matchup probably was the marquee matchup of the
Yeah,
week.
probably so. Let's jump straight in there, right, with Tanner here.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, Tanner. We'll
you know,
get
we're not,
this over with.
get it over with. Rip the band-aid off.
yeah, that's right, that's right. So we've got Tanner with the Wizards of the Light and Dua for de Armas. Uh, and I mean, really, Levi has been on a tear lately. Actually, it's been kind of
Mhm.
impressive to watch.
Yeah.
And then Tanner, you were 3-0, is that right? I think you were.
I was, yeah,
And
Been a
then
rough
you lost,
for you.
and then I
definitely.
beat you, and then you
Yep.
lost again to Levi this past week. So not a great looking stretch for the home team there.
No.
Yeah, what do you have to
Yeah.
say? Let's hear what your insights on this week.
I mean, all we can talk about is Dak Prescott to start.
Mm.
Like
Dak Prescott.
I watched that game. I mean, the Lions are great, don't get me wrong, but it's interesting. My dad is a Cowboys fan, so just like
Hmm.
watching that game with
Okay.
him and seeing his
Yeah.
disappointment, and then
Oh,
me
I
just
bet
being
his
disappointed because Dak's my QB here.
yeah. I
Uh,
bet
Is that
his disappointment was immeasurable.
yeah,
is that the first time you've ever been sad about the Cowboys not doing well?
probably.
Yeah.
Man, it was a great game to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of that game. Well, there was probably 1 minute I didn't enjoy, but
Yeah,
um, just that one defensive down, really.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
but fortunately, we don't play defensive players in this league, so
Yeah. So Tanner, so Dak Prescott is the highest paid player in the league. Is he by any chance the highest paid player on your team?
No.
No. Well, he's definitely not. He's
probably
definitely not
all
your
of the
man.
Houston defense is higher paid. In
Yeah.
cumulatively.
No, I was just
Um,
thinking, like, doesn't I just figure that Tanner's probably like paying his players, since
yeah,
he's a
that's
defensive
true.
champion, he probably has like all sorts of money.
One thing that's interesting to consider is that Tanner, if you had played me as your wide receiver one, I would have actually gotten you more points than Chris Olave would have this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
maybe go out there and pick up Trevor off the waiver wires.
yeah, see if you can find me. I'm way down there somewhere. Like I mean, who's a semi-retired wide receiver that's still probably like you could probably pick up
Julio Jones,
Julio. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, you could have started
Jonathan.
Julio. Um,
yeah.
oh, who is the one guy They got the sign. Didn't Dez is? Can you still pick up Dez Bryant? Do you think he's still in there?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely a handful of players that would have gotten you more points than Chris Olave. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably if we scroll down to your bench, we'll find some of them.
Yeah,
there you go.
Tanner had a pretty good bench performance this week. I mean, he got Romeo Dobbs apparently coming off a suspension.
2 tutties
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah. Tyler Algier had a huge game.
He did, yeah. DeAndre Hopkins even, he
Yeah.
did a little more than expected. He didn't start Big Kirko.
I don't know. I wish I did.
Against Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I did.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I
Who
don't
was
know.
your you fell for the trap, didn't you? The Kyle Pitts trap.
Yeah.
To be fair, he has been better this year than he has been in previous years. Now, granted, that doesn't say a whole lot, but
This is only like his third year in the league.
yeah.
He hasn't been too bad this year. I mean,
Yeah, he actually has a touchdown this year, which is more than you can normally say for him.
although Hunter Henry did have a pretty big game on your bench.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Hunter
So
Henry actually had like a nice game.
Was there any combination of players that Tanner would have been able to play to win?
It seems unlikely, right? I mean, Romeo Dobbs
so.
in there, that's a 19-point swing off the bat, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
that gets you over 100, but then you're still kind of 20 points back. What is Algier sub for? Algier for
you could have put him in for Hubbard, maybe. That would have given you 7 more points. So.
Wide receiver, you got 1.4 there. Who else did you have that did something? I guess Hopkins, I could see another 6 points. And then if we go Kirko for 12, I don't know. You could have made it close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would have gotten all the way, but
I guess I don't know. Who's to say? I don't want to do the math, but it would have been tough to hit on all those for sure.
Mm-hmm. Now going over to Levi's team. So we've, all season we've raved on Levi's running backs. Another huge week for Derrick Henry. Alvin Kamara coming up with another good week.
Yeah. And then this isn't Duke Johnson, right? That's an old guy. Yeah, Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson, yeah.
Duke Johnson was a Brown, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of Tanner's old stomping grounds. You know that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember picking Duke Johnson up off waivers one year, but that was many years ago. Anyways, yeah, I mean, Levi's team is good, right? There's not a whole lot more we can say about that. We say it every week. His running backs are good. And I'm going to say the same thing I say every week. If you give Hunter or if you give Derrick Henry 20 plus carries, he's going to perform. And look at it. Yeah. I mean, obviously some of that is a little bit like game script dependent. If you're winning the game, you run the ball more. If you run the ball more, he scores more. But he's had 25 touches, 24 plus touches in 3 games. All of those games have been 25 or more points. It almost feels representative, for every touch he gets, it feels like he's getting 1 point. But he had 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry is a monster. He's
just that fourth, good,
yeah. He's got the 4th ranked fantasy football player right now. I don't know who number 1 is. Do you know off the top of your head, Sam?
I don't. I want to say it's probably like I have no idea. Maybe Saquon Barkley.
Maybe Saquon. Maybe a quarterback. I don't know who that would be.
Let me check on that for you while you're dissecting this team.
Yeah. But I mean, his running backs are insane, right? Every week they're good. David Njoku, that's your boy over there with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he hasn't done really anything in a minute, right? Yeah. Really less than stellar performance.
Lamar Jackson is number 1.
Okay, Lamar Jackson. That makes sense. That checks out. Yeah, I mean, this is really the best performance of his year, right? 7 catches for 31 yards, and coming off a steaming 5.6 points. You hate to see it. Levi, maybe you.
I was about to say Levi really just needs some. He just needs some production from his tight ends and his receivers, and he's going to be solid.
Well, he's got Isaiah Likely, right? If I'm Levi, I'm just starting Isaiah Likely, and some weeks you'll get a goose egg, and some weeks you'll get 15. And I'd probably just say it is what it is because the rest of this team is so good.
Yeah,
but if he wants to trade me for Tyler Croft or whatever, the Green Bay tight end that's been relatively decent.
Tucker Kraft, yeah.
Yeah, I would field an offer from Levi.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot to go over, right? We talked about Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
You know. So Tanner, how do you feel about this
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey round 1 pick? Can we talk about that for a minute?
Well, that was an auto draft because I could not get on when I was trying to get on for the draft. I had the first pick. I had the first pick, and my phone was just not letting me on. So I got in literally like right after it made that pick.
If you were able to be online for the draft, who would you have taken number 1?
I honestly don't know. I'd be honest. Probably
if it
Christian
gives you
McCaffrey.
any insight, I was the number 2 pick, and I took CeeDee Lamb. I don't know if you would have taken CeeDee Lamb instead of me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe you could have saved me the heartache of having CeeDee Lamb on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have taken like Jamal Bates or Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. A lot of good talent there. But alas. So that's another L for Tanner. Now Tanner's 3-3 in 7th place. Quite the fall from grace.
The light is dimming on Tanner for right now.
Yeah.
If I was to make a bold statement, I think Levi is the best 4-2 team. Granted, there are only 2 4-2 teams. It's him and Aaron.
I'm also 4-2.
Yes. Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Look at you. I didn't. Yeah, he's definitely better than you.
Yeah. Although I did beat him. I did beat him in the first week.
That's true.
So, but yeah, I do like Levi's team a lot. I think his team's been really good ever since I beat him in week 1.
Yeah. And then he had an unfortunate week when he played against Andrew when he took that L as well. But so let's look next matchup here. What are we thinking? We want to work our way up. You want to hit the you want to do all 3 of us and then we'll get to everybody else?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
All right. So let's hit the Steagles that never were and the stoppable force.
So
now I'm gonna let you take this one over. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got something to say. So, Jacob McGlone, I hope you're enjoying your hockey game right now. And I hope the Lions win, because that's the only win you're going to get this week, buddy. Let me just tell y'all something. So on Sunday at approximately 1:23 p.m., Jacob sends a message to the party room chat, the Fantasy Football League channel, says that he's thrashing me. Look at this absolute thrashing of Sam right now, something like that. At that time, he was beating me 43-15. And from that point on, I beat him 98-36. So,
that
Jacob, what happened,
impressive.
buddy? I need to know what happened, Jacob. You come in here, you're talking all that trash, and then your team just plummets. What did they do? They plateaued. They literally laid down. Look at that graph right there. They laid down on their butts and they farted and then they sniffed it, Jacob. That's what your team did.
Bunch of fart sniffers.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Like a bunch of fart sniffers and butt latherers. You know what I mean?
It's like, I'm pretty sure Jacob sent a message to his team. It was like, guys, we're thrashing Sam. We got this. And they just quit. So,
yeah. That's
he did scare me a little bit with the I was watching that Bears Jaguars game.
I'd say when Caleb Williams
Caleb Williams had a great game.
To be fair, Joe probably saved his performance with his 42-yard touchdown run or whatever that was.
Say that again. Sorry.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's 40-yard touchdown run that he had?
Oh yeah, a 47-yard touchdown.
Yeah, it's a 11-point play. That was pretty helpful for the stat
That was
book.
pretty helpful because he didn't do anything else the rest of the time.
Right. But
it was good to have AJ Brown back.
Yeah, that seemed like that was worthwhile for you.
Yeah. Chase Brown got a nice touchdown there at the end, even though it made Matt very angry in real life football. But it helped. But yeah, I mean, my team just, they heard Jacob's trash talk and then they just took his team to the shed.
Yeah. Now, a couple things to note. I do like the Tank Dell here in the flex spot for Jacob. I don't know if he had any insight with this play because ATN just does not seem like he's going to be back on the field anytime soon. I love seeing a goose egg from Dallas Goedert. Good on them. I mean, it's almost impressive to have two players both actually play and start, and both come away with 0 points.
Now, to be fair, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. did get hurt in the third quarter, but that's Marvin Harrison Jr.'s third week finishing under 5 points.
Yeah.
Or wait, yeah. So he's got
it
one,
is. Yep.
three, yeah. And two of those weeks were under 1 point.
And I mean, I know it's only 2 targets, but still, like, it's not like he was just running around doing nothing. He was getting targets.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, do we have to relegate Marvin Harrison Jr. to the boomer bust category? Is that what he is?
I think so. I think right now that's what's happening.
I think we were all maybe a little.
Heed.
Yeah, I think we were a little hopeful he would be a consistent earner, but I mean, that's not what the numbers are showcasing.
Yeah. The Joe Mixon came back, but Jacob had him on the bench. Wouldn't have helped him out much.
Yeah, I mean, well, 26 points is significant, but over Jake Elliott, that would have been 25-ish points. He's still. I mean, that would have helped him a lot. Actually.
Elliott, yeah. Jake Elliott's a kicker.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, wrong Elliott.
Yeah.
But Tanner, beyond that, there's not a lot.
Yeah. Do you think Jacob should be forced to change his name at this point?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think changing to the stoppable force might be appropriate. When you're 1-5.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's not last in the league.
Yeah,
it's true.
But yeah, I mean, at some level, do you just have to look at your team and say, we just got to start over at some point, right? I mean, nobody's any good, right?
Well, he also traded away one of his better players in Josh Jacobs, which I'm still pretty upset that that went through.
Yeah, I don't know how
if he wants to get rid of his good players, then I don't know what to tell you, man.
Who did he trade him for? He traded him for.
He got Josh Palmer in return.
Yeah,
he's done nothing.
Why did he do that? Just like for fun? That's why he did it.
You tell me. I don't know. I vetoed it, but
it's not actually fun. I vetoed it. Did it say I didn't?
No, I think like majority of the rest of the league has to veto it.
I did. Yeah, I did not vote.
Yeah,
this is your fault, Tanner.
I didn't know.
I vetoed, but it kept giving me the option. So every time I saw it, I clicked on it and I clicked veto. But
it only takes it once. But
yeah, but it didn't go away. Like the notification didn't go away, which is what I was hoping. Yeah,
I will say I do think that one of the trades that did get vetoed was Dallas Goedert for Cole Kmet. Maybe that wasn't a good one to veto. So Jacob and Angel want to go ahead and make that trade. I'd probably not veto it this time.
Yeah, Sam, I'm disappointed you didn't trade Joe Burrow for Rashee Rice before I dropped him.
Oh yeah, well I mean. Both have histories of knee injuries. The one of them just has the history like happening currently. So decided not to do that. I think I'll hold on to my boy Joe Shiesty.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I do say that I appreciate Jacob's willingness for making trades. I think he's like the only one that's been involved. I think he's the only one that's been involved in any trade this year.
Yeah.
So, but maybe Jacob, make trades to make your team better.
Yeah, not to make your team worse.
Yeah.
There's an element too that, and I know you tried to allude to this a little bit, but I'll bring it up again. It's not fun for the rest of the league if you are just giving your good players to other teams, because it makes it less fun to play against teams when they have a bunch of good players that you gave them for free. That's the whole point behind like vetoing trades and things like that. It's to keep it fair. And obviously some teams are simply better than others, but we're okay with that as long as we didn't like manufacture that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why the commissioner gets the opportunity to veto trades in case it seems like people are colluding. In some leagues, I know we don't do it in this one, but some leagues people will.
Yeah, I could have set it up to where I was the one that had the power to veto trades, but I gave that power to the league. So
Yeah,
you guys
you
want to
should
complain
maybe
about
keep that in
me?
the future. You should keep that in the future.
I think Trevor. I just think you just have such great ideas. For council. What do you say,
Yeah,
Tanner?
Yeah,
yeah.
Trevor for council.
Yeah.
Trevor for Party Room Film Festival Fantasy Football League mini pod council.
Trevor for commissioner.
Oh, I don't no. I don't want to be commissioner, just council.
Just the council. All
That's
right.
right. That's right.
Tanner, do you got anything on this matchup?
I
Anything else
mean, I think the numbers speak for themselves, really.
Sam, who was the coach that had the notorious quote where they lost their match and the reporter asked them, they're like, what do you think is the issue? And he said, execution. I think our whole team needs to be executed.
I don't remember that. That was
You
pretty
don't
good though.
remember that?
No,
I'll
I
find it
didn't.
and I'll send it to the chat. But
Okay.
if I was gonna edit anything, I would put it in, but I'm not going to do that, obviously.
We don't need to edit anything here.
No
All right,
editing needed.
let's move on to Philly phobia and procrastinating podcasters.
You know,
I likes to call it the prostate podcasters.
the prostate podcasters. Now here's the thing with this one. I feel a little bad for Cody because it was really coming down to going to be a tight matchup. Because I was projected at 91 and he was projected at 88. Because my team was done playing, but he still had he had Buffalo defense, he had the kicker, and he had James Cook.
And Brees Hall, and
Brees Hall. So he had 4 players, which very easily can surpass that mark.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, do I think James Cook was gonna get him 12 points? I don't know, maybe. That's not an unreasonable number to hit. But it was unfortunate for Cody because James Cook got yoinked literally like 10 minutes before the game. Yeah. And at that point on Monday, there's really nobody you can pick up. You just have to take your L.
Mm-hmm. He could have, he could have hopped in there and picked up like Ray Davis. I know Ray Davis had a good game, but
yeah.
But if James Cook is going to be out a while, Cody, maybe take a look at Ray Davis. Unless Andrew wants to go snatch him up on waivers and just bench him, that's fine. But that was pretty unfortunate because you're looking at James Cook's scores by week. The first week he got really close to that 12-point mark, and then he only had 1 week where he had less than double digits. So he's been a really good running back.
It definitely seemed likely that I was going to lose if James Cook plays, but alas, that's fantasy, right?
That's how it happens. Yeah.
I think I had messaged the chat and I said I logged in and all my players were injured. Like Devin Singletary was injured, Rashad White was injured, Travis Kelce was on bye, Nico Collins is injured. Like I've got like 4 dudes that didn't play that are all supposed to start for me. So this is just what we came up with. You know what I mean? But this is fantasy.
Yeah. I do like how Cody is still sticking with the 3 quarterbacks. I love that. But I think he's been hitting every week with his starts for the last couple of weeks.
Has he gotten his start every week? Like the correct one?
So.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. I could be totally wrong about that, but I'm not going to fact check myself.
That's fair. I wouldn't either. Now, this is the 1 week he didn't start Mark Andrews, I think.
Oof, that was rough.
And obviously,
Mark Andrews had a great game.
Yeah.
We talked about a couple weeks ago. We talked about dropping Mark Andrews. Cody, I'm glad that I'm glad that Cody did not listen to our advice. And when I say that, I mean he's probably not listening to this podcast.
Yes, he didn't listen to anything at all.
But he hasn't dropped Mark Andrews. But maybe he needs to start putting him back in his lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably start him over Schultz, but I guess there's also a case where you say Schultz is supposed to get more targets with Nico out. I don't know if that's real, but theoretically, except I think they just traded for Amari Cooper, didn't they?
That was Buffalo.
That was Buffalo. You're right. Sorry, it was the other red, white, and blue team that has a bull as their logo.
Yeah. Well, one of them is a bison.
Yeah, but a bull bison, like a male bison with horns, Anyways. Okay. I don't know. I'm just making this up. Yeah. But unfortunate there for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Josh Jacobs worked out for him pretty well in that
Yes.
trade with
Yes.
Jacobs. So
Yeah, that
traded
was definitely a
anybody who would.
worthwhile trade. I would make that trade.
Yeah, I would
You
too.
know,
But I
yeah.
would beat that trade also.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole
So,
lot more to say about my team. I mean,
so
they went
I
out there and they underperformed.
I'm gonna ask Tanner the question that we've asked everybody else. What do you think of Trevor's logo there? His team logo.
Like, what is it? Because
Yeah.
that's what I've been trying to figure out.
Yeah, what is it? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, part of me is like it's like a face mask, but I feel like it's more of a thong. So
It's a jock strap.
The
it's
Thank you
actually
very much.
never had to wear
Very
one. I've never had to
appropriate.
wear one, so you don't wear that in
I mean,
soccer.
to be fair, this does appear to be an atypical jock strap. But, so I think that we're getting lost on the jock strap here is that we only see one of the two straps that goes across your butt cheeks because there's two, but one of them, based on the position, I think is hidden behind the jock portion of it. And then
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what this additional strap is. Maybe that's just a. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it
think that's for
attaches to
aesthetic.
your. Yeah, maybe it goes to your leg or something like that. I don't really know. Um, but yes, it is a jock strap, just in case
Yeah.
anyone wanted to know. I picked a colorful one because I thought it was spicy, a little black and blue, just like the Dallas Cowboys were after they
Yeah.
played against the Lions.
And just like the prostate podcasters after
Just like the
defeating the team.
prostate podcasters.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that's that for this matchup.
Yeah.
Now this is a pretty interesting one real quick though. I anticipate Devontae Adams peeling off the injured list real quickly now that he's been traded.
Mm. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is,
It's Cody put Devontae Adams in your lineup. He's back with his
yeah,
old
he's back with his old
quarterback.
quarterback. Back in his glory days, really. I mean, that was when he was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next up,
Next.
let's actually skip that one. Let's hit that one last.
Okay.
Let's go
We
to
go Fergies.
yes, the furries.
Furious
Furries
Fergies.
and Plute Ballers. I mean, it looked like it was supposed to be close, and I mean, it really wasn't, right? I mean, Andrew won by 35 or so points. Geno Smith did nothing spectacular. DJ Moore did nothing spectacular. Stephon Diggs had a good game.
Yeah.
Saquon kind of stunk. It really comes down to Chris Godwin going absolutely insane.
Bonkers. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you
And
look
then
at
George Kittle as
Andrew's
well.
bench, he left a lot of points on the bench too. I mean, I don't really
Yeah,
see
Cole Kmet,
there really
Keenan
wasn't any
Allen.
spot for him to start Cole Kmet. I mean, he could have put him in over Kittle, but that would be an extra
Yeah, you're
point.
not gonna do that. Yeah, and that
Allen
doesn't
could have
really
gone
make
in over
sense.
DJ Moore, but
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
really,
it could have been a lot worse for Josiah.
could have. But yeah, I mean, he had some guys hit, and Josiah, I don't think had anybody hit, right? I mean, Sam Laporta played well. Amon Rob, that was pretty game script, unfortunate, right? They were beating the Cowboys so badly that they decided to just start throwing it to offensive linemen instead of with wide receivers, which, definitely took some targets away from him. But that's just a little bit unfortunate for him. Yeah, I mean, this is what it is, right? Rashid Shaheed, we've talked about him. He really has seen, he's seeing that volume of targets, but he hasn't kind of hit pay dirt lately in our end zone, unfortunately. We also are in the last 10 minutes here, so we'll have to hurry up a little bit.
Oh, great.
I know. Anything else here, right? It's kind of an unfortunate week for the Plute Ballers. I feel like his team is better than they perform, but alas, he's 1-5, last in the league, and really got to get something going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
Andrew's really living and dying by the big time performances, which
he
I mean
has been.
is great for fantasy
Yeah.
football, but you got to wonder like how often is this team be able to keep
Yeah.
that up?
I mean,
When you
I think
almost wonder.
I
Go
think my
ahead.
advice for Josiah is get rid of Kyler Murray because Arizona's just not doing good
Problem
this
is, who's
year.
he putting in? He's got to go pick up a quarterback. Who are you going to pick up?
Yeah.
Justin Fields?
That's true.
I mean, that might be a better pick. I don't know, but I would say he's got a trade. He could probably get value for St. Brown or Laporta.
Well,
But beyond that, I don't know who he's really getting value for if he's trying to bolster his roster. I don't know. But
maybe he can just poach another player off Jacob.
yeah, maybe so. That would be a worthwhile trade. If we could get the Plute Ball or something to work with, I'd take that.
Yeah. Tanner,
let's move on.
Yeah, go ahead and move on. Are you worried, Tanner, about Andrew taking your trophy this year? I can't talk. Is Andrew going to be the first ever double dipper with the Dewey Fantasy Football Trophy?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, clearly when playoffs hit, like anything can happen. We've seen it. It happened last year.
Anything can happen.
Like, Josiah had like his miracle run last year and then just lost in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I do still think that Paul is the scariest 2-4 team. If he ever starts all of his players, that'll be really good for him. He also started 2 tight ends this week, which is pretty bold of him.
Mm-hmm. His kicker in bye week got more points than his defense did.
It's true. Harrison Butker got more points than Chris Olave did this week, right?
Yep. Yeah.
T. Higgins had another good game. I love that
He's sticking with his guy.
him.
Yeah. David Montgomery's a good one too.
Neighbors being hurt was really hurting Paul. Paul's got a pretty good he's got a pretty good core of receivers there.
Am I crazy? Is David Montgomery the most consistent running back so far this season?
Consistency probably.
Consistency. I mean, his upside potential probably is pretty much capped around 20 points.
Yeah,
because of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Derrick Henry's probably the most consistent. He's just not as like dominant. Not Derrick Henry is more dominant, but he's like super dominant sometimes, and then he's just like super good. Whereas I think David Montgomery is always super good.
Yeah, I mean
you always know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you're getting 15 points with David Montgomery every week, which is pretty valuable as a quarter or running back. But yeah, beyond that, kind of a stinker. He definitely, I don't know. I guess he didn't really have a whole lot. Could have played Tyler Lockett. That wouldn't really do anything for him. Just kind of an unfortunate week, not having Malik Neighbors or Kyron Williams. That's been a big one for him as well. He had some good games.
Yeah. Another good week from Matt. Tanner, I just want to point out here that Matt has Amari Cooper on his team, and the Browns just traded him. How you feeling about that?
Not great.
Hey, coming from a perpetual losing franchise like the Lions, there's hope. Bengals. I think there's hope.
I don't know. I don't think there's any hope. Like they got it for draft pick, and they're not going to do anything good with that draft pick. We already know that. Like
maybe you guys can find your Dan Campbell. He's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't trust the front office enough to just find their Dan Campbell.
That's fair. You
do play the Bengals this week, so you should be fine.
Yeah.
Another good.
Deshaun Watson will look good one game, and it'll be against the Bengals.
Yeah.
Another good strong week from Matt. Matt, I feel like Matt's quietly 5-1.
He is. I didn't realize he was in second place right now.
Yeah. So again, that Jaden Daniels is really just coming through for him.
That and what's the other? The Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason, yeah, and then Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is having a good year.
Yes, they're really hitting him a lot.
Yeah, I feel like we don't talk about Matt's team enough, and he hasn't really had Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane at his disposal. I mean, they've been pretty hindered by the Tua injury. Matt's team could be like way better. And Amari Cooper
is he not even starting?
No,
they were on bye. Okay, yeah.
Matt's team could just get much better with Amari Cooper going to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Well, we got one matchup left, and let's hit it. It's light the egg on fire.
Let's light it.
Back on the couch. Now,
that
realistically,
couch got lit on fire.
Zach had a great week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 120 points. Most of his guys really played above average. Travis Etienne was really a bit of a stinker there.
Yeah, but even so, he was able to get 119 points with two of his players combined for negative 0.1.
Yeah, To be fair, Etienne did play better than Chris Olave. He scored more than minus
true.
1 points.
That is true.
Yeah, and I mean, if I think Ramondre Stevenson got yoinked, so if he would have had time to put in Cortland Sutton, I mean, that would have been another 13 points, which would have got him really pretty close there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Etienne, if he really had a great play over Etienne there. I mean, I guess he could have played Eckler, but I don't think he gets there regardless because everyone on Aaron's team just went crazy, right? Lowest
Yeah.
point score is Brock Bowers at 11.6. If you're getting 11.6 out of your tight end, you're very happy.
Yeah.
And then Joe Flacco, love seeing him stand by his Colts guy. Beyond that,
he
everyone
could have
played
got
great.
11 more points though if he started.
Yeah.
Goff, yeah.
Jared Goff. Hey, nobody beats Goff.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's shoot. I mean, that's a really strong performance there from Aaron's team.
Yeah.
You know, Zach, like you said, like Zach had huge weeks. I mean, Terry McLaurin, you know, had 20 points. Bijan Robinson, 24. Lamar Jackson, #1 player in fantasy this year, had another good game. It just came down to Aaron's team, just everybody putting up big performances, and Zach's got players laying 2 goose eggs.
Now this is crazy. Real quick, he has the #1 and #2 performing fantasy football players on his team.
Crazy.
Surely he's got to trade Baker at this point for something, right? I mean,
who was it that we were just talking about needing a quarterback?
Josiah.
Josiah, yeah. I mean, if he could pick up Amon-Ra St. Brown, that would not be bad for him. I don't know if that's a great trade. It's not a bad trade though, right? I mean, anyways, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it. We got a minute and 15 seconds left, but
yeah,
I think at this point you got to deal Baker and you got to get something going because you're 1-5, and he really could quickly look like a really strong team to make a playoff push if he gets things turned around for him.
Yeah. So Tanner, you know, what are your thoughts on just like anything that we talked about? Is there anything you want to touch on? You want to give any like trash talk to everybody?
I don't have any trash talk. I'm just kind of going with the flow this year, you know, not really pumping myself
just
up.
Just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, just enjoying the ride.
If you wanted to know, Tanner, you are the biggest blowout of the week. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Any other cool stats? I don't think they give us all that many cool stats. So recap, right? Andrew's still in first, Matt in second, I'm in third, Darmit's in fourth, Sam in fifth, Aaron in sixth, Tanner seventh, Paul is in eighth, Zach is ninth, prostate prostators is 10th. The